And we're back for part 3 of Scum and Villainy.
Awesome.
Boom.
So, Faye, you're on a ship that you're not supposed to be on, and you just had a gorgeous failure on a desperate roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so
It's okay.
you kind of sneak up to their cockpit, and we see you kind of like montaging your way in, and you see some lights come on, and you wave your hands, and like screens pop up, and you realize that some of the screens contain a fair amount of information about you, and also as your eyes get wider, you start seeing that there's an array of your contacts that apparently they're also linking to, like Jax, the ship mechanic that worked on this ship. Apparently these people confronted, which doesn't look good. So like as you're looking around and your eyes are growing wider and wider, the last file that almost takes your breath away is like a 3D model of you with like a gene ident scan that they obviously got with like
Jesus.
the chimera of the Yaru on it, and you're just like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, right? Like, and then as you do that, a shadow falls on you.
That's why I want to say nope and to everything, but as soon as I see the shadow, well, I don't know. I should wait a second. A shadow falling on me is not a bad thing, but presumably I am trapped or I am caught or something like that. And if I hear the creak or I see the shadow, that's when I just straight up book it, panic, not even trying to keep the ruse.
Awesome.
Like haul ass.
So, you see the shadow and you begin running, and this starts looking very familiar because you are now running through a ship being pursued by Core.
Thank you for making my nightmares happen.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, man.
So you start running, and as you start running, he starts walking because the camera pans on him, and what he does is he lifts up his hand, and it's got that doodad of yours, and he starts just walking in the direction you are very calmly because he knows that you're not going anywhere. So,
nice.
And now we're gonna cut. So Jory, I'm sorry, Loren and Boz, where are you folks?
So we have followed up on the little receipt message that Faye got, and so we've gone out to the Badlands
wearing gas masks.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So we see you guys with your cool kind of steampunk aesthetic chic that seems to be this planet's standard.
It looks really good on me.
Does your gas mask have particular like designs or crow shoes or something on it, or
no? It's just like something about like the kind of dirtiness, which is not Lauren's normal look, is quite fetching on him.
Fetching, isn't it? And Boz just looks mean.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which is also a good
gas mask is one of those with like the two like cartridges.
Yeah.
So good.
And Lorenz maybe has like a tube that goes to like a nice canister.
So good. Elegant and creepy, Geiger-tastic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's some like rock formation and green pools of water that are steaming because they're clearly acid. And there's like an old factory that's obviously like whatever it was pumping or producing is currently offline. And there's hunks of like metal and supplies that have been left out here because it was easier just to leave them than just ship them somewhere. And coming up out of this kind of rusted wasteland and waiting for you is this tall figure. And you've met him before. We've talked about him before. His name is Bar Hazuk. He's one of the members of Conclave 01. And as a matter of fact, on your receipt, the little message is encased with little zeros and ones. That's all. It's just used as the border, right? And it's one of the ways that they kind of like give each other the high sign, so to speak. And yeah, as I mentioned before, Bar Hazuk is kind of huge. He's obviously replaced some parts of himself with construction equipment. One of his hands is like bigger than the other because it's like obvious that he has had to like repair himself and didn't have like single chassis materials to work with. He walks with one hand on a staff that's like made of metal, and it's got like wires and other things on it, and it's got like a light on top of it that he uses to like see in the like twilight mark of this planet. And he shows up, And when he sees you, he gives this deep grinding metal growl, which you realize is his happy noise. He says, human friends, as if, that's kind of how he identifies you. He says, how is that fine little ship that we fixed up for you doing?
Gorgeous.
He smiles and sort of like points at Laren. He says, like, and you, have you been practicing your growing things? If you recall, Barhazuk has like a garden and likes little green things and tries to like grow flowers and bonsai and stuff.
And Lauren replies, I haven't had a lot of time for growing things, but we have a dog, and he's growing every day, unfortunately. Would you like to meet him?
Yes, I have not met a dog before. I have seen them. I know the information on them, but I have never actually met one.
I think you'll like him.
He says, come, standing out here in the murk is. Actually, he says, where are my manners? As if that's a thing that robots have. And he goes, we should not be standing out in the murk. This atmosphere is not good for your organics. Come. And he sort of like gestures towards the factory. So without much further ado, he'll take you in. He's got like a weird gait because again, one of his legs is not exactly like the other, and like one of his joints is a little tight, so it like squeaks. But yeah, he brings you in, and he's got like a little place, and he's got a few hydroponics with some of his tinker plants that he's taking extra stuff
Tinker
plant lid that he carries it around so it doesn't get eaten by the acid of this world. But yeah, he sits you down and he offers you a drink because he's seen humans drink, but it's only water. But he makes a show of it. And then he starts to tell you a story because this is a job offer, so I'm just going to outline the parameters of it basically briefly. And one of the things that he says is there is a ship that's entered the Rin system recently that bears a number of our brethren, a concerning number. But most Urbots can function. Like he essentially what he tells you is that most Urbots have a form of sentience and an understanding, and even when they're reset, they have like a purpose. They can be programmed to do specific things. But there is a rumor of a thing that can allow you to directly control a number of them that are made of this particular model and make. And he says that he suspects that the person carrying these Urbots is essentially trying to retrieve this object. And he says that the Prime has sensed this, and his fear is great. And now that he knows where this person is going, he said that he we should leave this to rest and sleep. But if they are going to wake it, it would be best if we would wake it instead. If you could find it and bring it to us, we do not have easy ways to traverse off worlds. Like basically what he's saying is like, listen, this is like kind of a dangerous gig. It goes into a dangerous place. I can give you the specs, but we can't go ourselves because we don't have giant Urbot ships.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, Barhazuk, I'd love to. We have another member of our crew who's not with us, and we'll have to consult with her for sure, but I'm certain that she'll be sympathetic to your plight. We are, as you know, working with maybe less creds than we'd like to. Is there any way that you can help us out in order to do this? Because it sounds pretty dangerous.
He says, I'm afraid that human currency is sometimes difficult for us to acquire. However, we do have perhaps ship parts and repairs that we may help you with yet again.
That's always appreciated.
Yeah, I'll tell you this straight up. a ship part costs some amount of creds, and what he's saying is that he won't pay you directly in creds, but he can do an upkeep and maybe give you like a 6 cred worth ship part or so.
Sounds pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Well, I would like it if I wasn't running for my life.
Oh, funny you should mention that, because the camera switches back, and Faye, how are you running for your life from this relentless pursuer who is coming after you? And just to showcase a little bit on camera, I know that you folks aren't like super steeped in the way, but there's a specific mystic trait called visions, and so like we see you like running down hallways, and then the camera does like a warbly thing, and we see Cora essentially like look up, and you realize that he's actually seeing you doing the things that you're doing by holding this object. So, how are you trying to get away from him?
So I would like to do a flashback to a point where the crew members were all like you gotta get this damn dog we can't work. We keep trying to work around him, and he keeps biting at us and growling on the door, and he's freaking us out. And I'm like, okay, I'll take him out here, and I'll get him outside, and he'll calm down. And I and he's like on a chain because he has to be on a chain because he's a giant pony dog. But even that is I think for Burden, it is not something that would actually restrain him if he was upset. And it's down that corridor that I had him chained that I'm running. And what I would like is for Burden to tackle Core as he goes by and have him drop the
so here's the thing though, you've had this dog for a grand total of maybe a week, and you haven't taught him please lie in stealth and also assault a person through mana.
Okay.
I feel like that's a fair assessment. Am I wrong?
Sure. Oh no, absolutely. Yeah.
But I can definitely see you running into a room with this dog and slipping the chain off of its neck and being like, all right, buddy, I'm gonna need a little help from you. And the dog's like, oh? And so you'll understand about 10 seconds. And sure enough, I don't know if you draw your blasters or you take a corner or what do, you can tell me. But sure enough, just a minute later, Core's gonna step through that door with that sword that as a matter of fact, you can see it coming, right? Because the dog is sitting there, and then the lights start flickering, and you see its ears stand up, and it looks up wait a minute, and then you see the lights start flickering more vigorously as this way powered sword is approaching, and sure enough, Core will step in here in a second.
Awesome. So I think I want to primarily be the distraction when he comes in. I'm like, I'm over here, and then that's when I yell sick 'em boy, and I think it makes sense for me to attack him, but I don't think I'll be firing a blaster at him at this point. I grab a ship part and chuck it at him.
Oh my god!
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So what is your goal here?
Is to knock the bracer free of him so I can run away. If I understand if I've figured out.
I was gonna say the audience knows that you have no idea how this dude's following, but every corner you take, he seems to anticipate. Every turn that you're all right, I'm gonna hide behind these boxes and father,
Yeah, then my goal is to incapacitate him. Yeah, let's rephrase that.
Okay.
I want to wait until we're I want to run until we get near some big ship parts, some cargo parts, and try and knock a crate over on top of him. I don't want to kill him. I just want to trap him under something.
All right, awesome. So you've got the dog there. You've got a pile of ship parts and some crates and stuff there, and you're gonna try and you're hiding behind him, and when he comes around, you're gonna try and knock them on him. And then
in fact, I think
that's what
you're
you're planning.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I think I'll like be like, Burden, help me like shove this crate. I actually like try to get like the big, the big muscle like knock something over with
All
me.
right, cool. Let's see. Not sure that he does heavy labor either, but he'll look confused and then try and help.
Yeah.
But let's see here. I think if I'm not wrong, this is a scramble roll because scramble is also lifting, running, jumping, climbing, swimming, etc.
Sounds good.
So it doesn't feel like you're scrapping because you're not in close combat with an opponent. You're not trying to hold a position or brawl. You're just trying to shove something onto him.
Yeah.
And I feel like no, actually, this is a controlled scramble
Okay. Cool.
because
Uh,
he's so the reason it's controlled is because the outcome is going to put you in a risky situation more than likely. But he's not directly attacking you, so you're not likely to like take wounds or anything. So it's controlled in the sense that the consequences are going to make life worse for you rather than the consequences just being like a desperate roll where you take 3 harm, because that doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Well, let's see how well I scramble. It's standard effect, limited effect.
It's controlled limited.
Cool. And roll that 1 die. Yeah.
Ooh.
Awesome. So this is
That's
pretty
more or
much
less what I predicted.
so this is a classic scene, right? Like
Yeah.
you come up with this plan, you're like, all right, buddy, help me here, help me. And the dog is like, I'm not really sure what you're saying, human. You haven't
Yeah.
really explained yourself very well. By the way, if you wish to communicate to animals, a tune is the way that you do it. You can actually talk to animals with a tune. But
Boz should be here, but
yeah, Boz should be.
not.
No wonder Boz gets along with the dog so well.
Yeah.
But you're like, fine, and you like put your back into it and you grab like a pipe and you like leverage it and everything, and sure enough, like you see the boxes start toppling and you're like, ship parts are gonna squish this dude. And you see the blade like you see the thing falling, and then you see the blade slice right through it like it's made of hot butter, and like the boxes like part around him, and so there's boxes everywhere and he's standing there, and now you're in a risky situation. What do you do?
All right.
Yeah, you hear you hear that like buzz of the sword as like he positions himself, and it looks like he's getting ready to charge you.
Yeah, I look at him and extend out my arm, and suddenly the bracer extends and opens, and the blaster sort of like pops out above my wrist, and I point at him. I'm like, "What do you want? Why are you coming after me?" And I start yelling at him, and I'm trying to get him to talk to me. I don't know if he will, but I want to.
He doesn't say a word, and he steps towards you. That impassive mask, not betraying really anything.
Cool. Yeah.
I have a
I don't know.
question,
Go ahead.
Shoot.
which
Yeah.
is, can we be on our merry way back from the Badlands?
Absolutely.
Can we bring Barhazuk with us to introduce him to the dog? Would he come?
Yes. How would you hide him? Because keep in mind that he's
Big trench coat.
Can
he's
we
a very unusual Urbot and kind of memorable. It's not
can
that
we dress him as a Sahir?
The easy well, actually, yes, but you would need to have Sahir robes and clothes, and that's a little bit hard to acquire on short notice.
Well,
It's not really a disguise that you might have. I mean,
do you
Sahir,
think that maybe Faye would have just filched one on the ship we were
that's highly unlikely.
at? Okay, no.
I mean, you can easily like load him up on a truck or something, but you guys don't have an easy truck.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know if there's if you just ask him to carry some boxes for you and pretend that he's like some sort of loader bot.
Mm-hmm. Are mechs a thing in this?
There is power armor. Yeah, people do use loaders. Like they use like actual like big loaders, like very much like Alien, where they like lift up large objects because they have like.
Could we
hydraulic
pretend that he's a suit? like walk with him the way like a child would stand on an adult's feet to dance, would be like standing on his feet like, yeah, it's my mech suit, it's cool.
He's not really designed for that. I mean, he's an Urbot with an Urbot chassis. He doesn't really have a place for a human really to stand inside him in a way that would plausibly pull that off.
Okay.
You're probably better off just sneaking or actually having him be an Urbot, just pretending to be like carrying stuff for you, or
Yeah.
this like he could pass as a here, but yeah, you don't really have outfits that are suitable for him, particularly not on short notice.
All right. Yeah. Let's just have him pretend that he's carrying stuff for us.
Cool. I think
So-
I'm just
so-
gonna make a fortune roll to see if anybody pays attention to this, because Urbots are not really an unknown sight in the galaxy. He's very
Sure.
unusual, so somebody might take note of that. But people with weird, scrappy Urbots with mismatched parts are not really unseen. I mean, this is kind of the Procyon
Sure.
sector, which is kind of a shithole, and Indri's not exactly the most up and coming planet.
Right. Like there's lots of patch jobs.
I'm just gonna put 2 dice on the table and see if anybody notices anything or keeps them in mind later on.
Okay.
Clicked the wrong thing.
Oop.
Sorry about that, folks. I clicked the wrong thing over. So you get a few tunes.
Festive.
Back now.
So yeah, somebody does pay attention to him. All right, cool. I'll figure out the details of who it is that figures that out and why here in a minute. But yeah, you folks are headed towards where the puppy is supposed to be, and by puppy I mean giant monstrous critter. And you know, you probably, like, as you're approaching, hear the sound of like crates and stuff falling.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's sort of where you guys are entering. But back to Faye.
Great.
Faye, what are you doing with this?
Well, I was trying to talk to him. I wanted to sway him into at least a dialogue, but it sounds like that's not a thing that
He doesn't really
responds
talk.
to.
In case you haven't noticed, like, as in, he literally doesn't super vocalize.
All right. Well, then I just try to get him to stop. I just yell at him. I'm like, wait. And I it's like, whatever it is you need, we can make a deal. And I don't expect him to respond, but I try to get him to delay long enough that I can figure out another way out. I mean, this is clearly a ploy, but at this point, I don't sense that I can. I don't sense that I can defeat him. So I'm mostly like trying to figure out a way that I can get out of here. So
Cool. So his interest isn't, so one of, like, as soon as you say, like, listen, I don't even really want to fight. I don't know what the hell you want, but whatever you want, we can figure something out. And sure enough, he goes from that like combat stance with the sword to like having the sword by his side, but like not deactivated.
right. Cool.
And
Can I?
go ahead.
No, I was just say, like, can I? Let's see. Survey isn't an action,
Study.
but
Study covers that.
okay. So I want to. I mean, obviously, I know I can just run down any corridor, but I want to try and figure out a way I can escape him. I don't think I'm going to pick up on the bracelet, but I don't know if there's anything else that.
Yeah,
would,
you should study. If you crit, you might. Who knows?
yeah. All right. Let's try this. So I want to study him. And you said I was in a risky position before, so I assume it still applies. He could.
It's actually your study is a gather info in this case, and
Okay.
it's not risky because I think it's controlled. And you see that, like, when you say, like, we can figure out anything, and you know your eyes are darting around, he sets the sword down, and after a second, he lifts his hand up to type something in on his bracer. But yeah, go ahead and roll.
Okay. Cool. This is really important. I'm gonna push myself.
Okay.
And one die. See if I can. Nope. Yep. Or I can keep rolling like that.
Those are the best rolls.
Yeah.
Most interesting.
So you're trying to figure out how he's chasing you.
Yeah.
You don't figure that out. You're trying to figure out how you can get away. I mean, I don't know if you've thought of this perhaps or not, but obviously getting out of here and running is certainly an option. He's going to keep chasing you. You have no idea how he's tracking you, but you know that's the thing. You
Right.
don't find out what he wants, but he's obviously typing something into his bracer, so who knows what that is. But as you look around at your resources, other than toppled over crates and perhaps some allies appearing here in a split second, you do realize that like this is not really information. I'm not giving you anything that is magically coming to mind that you wouldn't have known before. But there is a creature that's about the size of a horse that people ride that goes pretty fast, standing right next to you.
Very
now,
agile.
I'm like, this is not. I know that you rolled a fail, and I have no additional information to give you. But
Yeah, sure.
aside from the
But
obvious,
you were pointing out the thing that they would just know without. All right. Well, and that's fine because that's the obvious thing that doesn't. Thank you. And
sorry,
I
clawing at my leg for like a couple of minutes now. But yeah, so yeah, at this point, any of the group, you guys are coming up the corridor, and like I said, you heard a large clanging noise that stopped shortly thereafter. Yeah, what do you guys? Let me ask the rest of the group. What are you guys doing aside from walking around with the bar hazuk who's pretending he's a robot carrying stuff for you?
I think are we fairly close to the ship at this point? I mean,
yeah, it's in the same starport.
Yeah. I think I yell out, Faye? Because I know. I'm just like, it's going down. This is probably Faye. Does she hear that? Does she respond to that?
Faye, sure, you can hear that. That's not a problem.
Yeah. I go, oh good, my ride's here. I guess we'll have to catch each other. I guess I'll have to catch you later. Because whatever he's doing seems bad and menacing. I'm like, we're clearly not copacetic.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but he's texting. But go on.
Texting.
Yeah. I mentioned he doesn't talk. It's not that he can't communicate, he just doesn't talk. But go on.
Yeah. Well, I assume he's not texting me.
Nope.
So so if you're not going to text Faye doesn't have anything to do with it. So when I hear that and I go, oh, I'm sort of inclined to try and blast the little pad off his wrist.
Sure, that's a possibility. But yeah, like the moment that you're like, hey, I'm gonna have to go, he gives you like he points at you and then he points like you stay kind of like gesture, but you can shoot whatever you want. I mean, obviously you're not going to do what he tells you. Come on.
Right.
Or maybe you will.
Right.
I don't know. It's up to you.
No, that's why I have stress to resist things with. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fire that blaster pistol at that data pad. Try and stop him from sending whatever he's gonna say, and then try and take off. Actually, you know what? The blaster pistol I fire as like a distraction. I just shoot over his head to make him flinch and then bolt. I don't actually want to hurt him. I have no desire to like cause damage to him. So I think the blaster is there for show, and the primary thing I'm trying to do is scramble the heck out of there on Burden's back. If Pony Dog.
Okay. So I think that this is actually I mean, this dude is a trained bodyguard who could read like body language and people like you wouldn't believe and moves incredibly quickly. So trying to get out of his reach and on the dog and out of the room before he can get a hold of you or pin you or do any of the things that, somebody of his tier and training could do.
Sure.
I feel like that's a risky, maybe limited, where he might grab a piece of something or maybe injure something or like keep up with you at least a little bit. So I feel like
I don't expect
it's
I'm getting. I don't feel like I'm getting. Well, okay. So let's start with this. I'm gonna try and trick him. I'm gonna try and sway. I'm gonna try and deceive him. So I'm gonna try and sway him into being distracted, into not reading my body language correctly, so that I can run away. So I think I'm gonna do a setup action first. Is
I do
trying to
think
sway him.
that almost you shooting off the blaster pistol is kind of a setup action in itself, because I think that happens and Lauren at least is like books it to where you are. So it's possible that the three of us hearing that showing up is itself a distraction.
Yeah. So let's start. Does that sound reasonable? Let's start with that. Me trying to distract him.
So I don't know that you can distract him, but maybe you can fool him into not realizing you're about to bolt. Is that fair?
Okay. Sure.
Like he is. I mean, you can shoot him.
I'm hitting walls on what I can do to him besides shoot him in the face, which is something I'm.
It's not a problem. What I'm telling you is you can run, but it's not just going to be like one and done. Like there's a very good chance that this is going to become more than that.
Yeah. I imagine
you can attempt to hide that you're about to bolt, which will then decrease. It'll probably be like risky standard or whatever. But so like you can do this action, but keep in mind that if you roll 4 and 5 on this action, then there's a consequence, and then it's going to snowball.
Absolutely.
So my question.
So I'm going to put my hands up and be like, "I'm yours. It's okay. It's cool."
Perfect.
And then when I say, I go, "On second thought." And so I'm gonna first try and convince them that I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna try and
so that sounds like a sway. Yeah. But you're a person who's used to reading people. So again, this is obviously risky, where the consequence is him believing you, or at least going along with your ruse, but maybe positioning himself between you and exits.
Sure. And I assume effect standard because it's just a setup action. It doesn't really. All right. Let's see if I can roll. There we go. That's. I wanted rolls that weren't 2 and 3, and said they were 1 and 2. So.
Like
you have covered the lower half of the spectrum.
I've got it all. I've got all them 1s and 2s and 3s.
Yeah. Got it. It's all for Faye.
I'm looking back at your rolls over this whole session.
Not good.
Reminds me of our last Blades game, which had a lot of rolls like this.
No.
However, this is good cinema, right? You're like, hey, buddy, hey, I'm gonna come with you, and you hear them being like, Faye, you go, on second thought, and he's already moving, right? Like he's putting you in an arm lock, grabbing the back of your head, and like pinning you. And this is where I wait for the.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, not the jacket. And I when he puts me in the arm lock, that's when I fire the blaster into the wall next to into the floor next to him and try and slip out. I'm going to resist being pinned by this
prowess.
dude.
It sounds like.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Give me a prowess resist. Let's see how much stress this costs you.
So good.
It costs 1 stress.
Awesome. So you managed to. He's essentially trying to put you in a joint lock and pin you and do all this other stuff, and you fire the blaster at him, and he dodges out of the way, but that forces him to let go of you for a split second. So you're on your knees, but he's off of you for a split second, and then you see the crew coming out of the hallway. What do you do?
Yeah,
booking it.
Well, I think I see what's going on, and before I really understand what's going on, I'm like, Faye! And I draw my blaster and just fucking shoot at him.
There's a broad tradition in this game of running out of starports with crazy bounty hunters chasing you guys while shooting blasters at them. Awesome. So this sounds like a scrap here.
Scrap.
I want to join. I want to now that I'm doing this with me, I want to be and shoot at him as well. If you're okay with doing a group action.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with all you people doing a scrap group action.
Yeah.
That'd be great because
I'm
like a plan. Not good at scrap. So as a group action, remind me, Strash. Is this risky or desperate? I feel like.
So it would be desperate if there weren't so many of you.
Okay.
He is powerful, and he fights a lot stronger than what you would anticipate. He has higher quality weapons and armor. and he's kind of a badass. But there's enough of you that your scale will tilt that towards your favor to some extent.
Mhm.
So you guys are it's going to be Brisky standard, I think.
Great. And then
Cool.
Just to ascertain, your goal is basically to injure him and get him off of Faye and let her run straight, or is your goal for the three of you to do some damage to this guy?
it is to, I mean, I don't think that Lauren has thought that through this much. Lauren is just like, I'm gonna protect Faye. You're bad. So it's much more about just like getting out of the situation, making sure that Faye is safe. There is not a clear intent to like incapacitate this scary.
But if it happens, that's okay, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. It's unlikely to happen because this dude has a laser sword, and we've already seen him bounce blasters off of it.
Rude.
It's actually not a laser sword. It is. It seems to be a plain weapon, and somehow he is drawing in the way, and he's making one of its edges glow. But we've seen him use that thing to like bounce blaster bolts before. So this is called a side blade. It's a known mystic thing. So yeah, you know that this dude has like way effects, right? Like he's.
Serious
Will be-
business.
All right, so it sounds like Lauren is leading the action,
Mhm.
and Faye is joining in. So I'm hearing 2 scraps. Is Boz also firing into this?
Boz will once Lauren starts like commits by drawing that flash, like, okay, I guess that's the solution. Here we go.
Awesome.
Great.
So cool. So
I have a question. Do we have any bonus dice? Like, does Barzuk, is he involved in any way that would get us a bonus die?
so he doesn't carry ranged weapons. He's more of a, I guess, melee fighter at this point. But mostly his contribution is to like essentially his reaction to this whole scenario is to go, a dog.
I also feel like I think that Burden really likes him.
But well, I think that he may actually stop Burden from trying to get into the middle of a laser fight. But
Yes, please.
like while the rest of you are about to fight for your lives, he's very gently setting down the crates that you gave him to carry because he doesn't want them to be like damaged.
Right.
Because they're in his charge right now. And then, yeah, he's probably going to stop. Like Burden's trying to chew his arm off, but he's like, you know, you should probably not get injured, you dog. All right.
Delightful.
Yeah, it's just he's like. Anyway, so yeah, so go ahead and give me some
If
rolls, everybody.
If I
So-
push, if I push myself, I take 2 stress, correct?
Correct.
And then I get a bonus die.
That is also correct.
I'm going to do that.
Nice.
So I would like to roll with you, but that could potentially cause the way I'm rolling, it's almost certain to cause you some stress.
What stress?
Yeah. Are you okay with me joining in this action?
Yeah. I mean, narrative wise, I think it makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. I could say I help, but I'm not helping. I'm doing the same thing. I'm firing my
You're attempting. That counts.
Yeah. Well, I'm joining in on the action rather than
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
doing another distraction or anything like that. I'm
Mhm.
like, nope. Okay, cool.
Great.
So
So it's risky, standard. I'm taking a bonus die. Here we go. Oh no.
You'll take 1 stress so far. Okay.
yeah. Here
All
we go.
right.
Yeah, there we go. There's 2
So-
stress.
This is risky and it's standard. Is that what we've?
Yep.
All right, here we go. And like Boz is gonna just lay down some suppressing fire, right? Hoping Faye can get out of there.
Wow,
Ter-
Boz managed to
terrible.
pull off the first 4 we've had in ages.
Ugh.
So that's
Yeah.
is that 1 more stress?
No, it's
So
just 2.
Loren, you take 2 total stress from
Okay.
the group action because 2 of you
Yeah.
rolled less than 3 as your best die, or sorry,
Yeah.
less than 4, so 3 or less.
3 or less.
But Boz actually manages to put enough pressure. So like Loren fires a couple of times, and the dude just like does that like crazy like super quick dodge where he's like anticipating where the blaster bolts are coming, and they're just not even getting close to
Jukes.
him.
Snaky jukes.
Faye fires at him. He just like knocks it away contemptuously, but like Boz knows actually how to do suppressive fire. Like, so he actually like has to like focus on deflecting all of those blasts and stuff. And because this dude is a complete badass, you actually don't manage to get fire through. So he is not going to be injured. He is not going to be incapacitated. But Faye does have an opportunity to get the hell away from there.
Yeah, that'll do. And if we don't send blaster bolts back to people, that's even better.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, is harm coming Faye's way as she is in the middle of this fray? Or
no, I feel like there is no harm being dished out here because you guys are all firing at him and you're at least like a couple feet away. And the purpose of this is to distract him to give you an opening. So
Yep.
on a 4, you do the thing, but you also, the threat is not over. He is not incapacitated. Plus
Right.
he is still relatively close to people that are involved.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do?
This is when I say, let's get out of here. And I would like
Oh,
to run, perhaps ride, but in all ways try and move. I would like to scramble on out of here.
Mm.
Cool.
back
So
to our
this
ship.
sounds like it might actually be a group scramble because all of you need to leave, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right,
So-
cool. I'm gonna roll some dice for Barhazuk too. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Cool.
I just
So
wanna know if he makes it because his leg is not good.
I
Right.
think I'm gonna lead the scramble.
Okay.
Yeah, Barzak maybe caused me stress, but it makes sense. I think for me to, I've assessed this threat very well, and my response is let's run like hell.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sounds great.
And risky or desperate?
Oh, he's in trouble.
Oh, no!
Is that his group action rolling going to cause stress, or is that a roll indicating he cannot come with us?
That is a roll indicating he cannot make it to your ship with you folks.
Okay. All
So
right.
all of you run or ride or dash out of there, but his right leg and his actuators are not designed for speed running. So he is bigger than you are and he has longer strides, but he cannot do any crazy stunts or acrobatics. And basically, like, Core is way faster than he is. He's gonna just like overtake him in like 2 seconds flat here. No,
Okay.
probably not 2 seconds. You guys like make it to hallways and stuff, even if he does catch up to you and everyone fails.
Right.
It does mean that Barhazuk cannot make it to your ship at the same time that everyone can.
Mhm.
This is also the time, keep in mind, I have just said a thing, so you can always be like, nope.
So our roles are risky or desperate.
I feel like they're only risky because you did put suppressing fire down, so you have some distance and you can run away.
Mm-hmm.
And the effect is standard.
That is correct. He can move somewhat quickly, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's
So I would
not
like to.
magical in that
I would
regard.
like to resist the effect on Barzuk, and the way I like to resist it is Barzuk is petting or talking to Burton, and
Well, he was trying to keep him from running into the middle of blaster fire. To
well,
be
he
Right.
was
But he has his
physically
hands on him.
close
Yeah.
to Burton.
he was.
So I yell because we all know him. I yell Barzuk, hold on, and I say Burton, get over here, and I would like Burton to drag him, probably drag him literally. Like I can almost imagine the scene where he like falls on his ass and Burton is like running down a corridor and he sparks flies and whatnot. So I would like to resist that with resolve. I think I don't know. You tell me what it resists with. But I
That's
feel
actually accurate because it is a social. When in doubt, I usually go to the skills, and commanding or swaying or even attuning to the dog are all social attributes.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel
Yeah.
like a resolve roll, because this is not really insight. This is not a question of not anticipating things, and it's not prowess because you're not lifting or running anything.
yeah,
So
I'm
it's,
not doing the lift, but I figure he's already got his hands. He's already near Burton. He could grab the chain, and Burton could just literally drag his ass along
cool.
the way.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. So I'm gonna roll resolve. Okay.
So you're gonna take one stress for that.
Take one stress because it's stressful to stop and yell that out.
Well, it's not just that. It's also you realize that your
running.
friend is about to be toast if you can't get him out somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now we do group scramble, and it feels like Faye is leading. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So everybody do a scramble roll. This is risky.
Risky.
Faye's gonna eat stress for anybody that doesn't do too well.
All right.
I am going to push myself here as well.
All right.
All right. Well, I did not stress myself out.
Hey!
Woohoo! We all run away real good.
We
Well,
we get
decently.
partial.
Enough.
This is partial. This is partial, actually. So I think that all of you get to your ship, and you get to your ship with enough time to like flick switches and like light it up, and you're calming the guys that were working on the ship, like, thank you for your help, goodbye. And they're like, but we didn't detach the, and then you like, start lifting off, and like you see all of the like scaffolding going on. Your ship's fine. They finished the repairs. They just didn't do the cleanup. That was supposed to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you go to take off. You're like, phew, that was close. And then you realize that their ship is taking off as well.
Oh shit.
And
And Bar Hazuki's on our ship with us?
yes, he is.
Crowded. So good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, now it's a different kind of chase. Now I'm feverishly running to the cockpit. Well, obviously we were taking off already. So now, yeah, I'm like, okay, Barzuk, let's see how good a ship. Let's see how well you fix this ship up for us. Let's see how well this little ship can do. And I'm gonna gun it and try and obviously we're still in the chase. We're just now in the chase in big vehicles.
We do remember we also have our cloaking device. It's something
do.
that might come in.
Yeah,
and play.
that has worked for us in the past. But I think
It has actually worked for you in the past.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me a helm roll.
Yeah. Boz, do you want to roll with me?
I was gonna say, do you want Boz's support on that? Because Boz would very happily like roll right up to the cockpit, my often high friend, and
Yeah.
still shaking that one off. Yeah, I'd be super into that. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Let's
So Boz, are you willing to spend a stress to give Faye an extra die, is what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Cool.
awesome.
So
Thank
Faye,
you.
helm +1 right now.
Yeah. Can I have a devil's bargain of getting how much heat do we have in the system right now? 6?
Mm-hmm.
How much do we need before we cap?
8.
There's math.
Can
You're
I
gonna
can
have
I
to keep
can
it
I
in
take a
mind. You can reduce your wanted level by leaving the system and doing the clock. So every time you do wanted level, like whenever you do heat reduction, it reduces 2 heat and puts 2 ticks on reducing the wanted level in the system. So if you get wanted 1, you have to leave the system and then send bribes to cops, false news stories, set up loose leads and other things like that, or just not be there doing wild stuff. So the cops are like, yeah, they're wanted, but they're not like persona number 1.
Well,
Bad
can I take a heat as a devil's bargain by basically blasting out of here where you should be observing all of these, slow in the docking zone.
No
and
wake.
instead we're in the no wake zone, as we talked about by Space Church. I'm not anywhere near waiting to get out of that.
Yeah, I will totally give you a heat.
Okay. All right. Groovy. So we haven't gotten wanted yet, but we're right.
If you do a job in this system, you will.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Okay. So I'm rolling helm, and it's what's the position?
Right now it's controlled because they're not shooting at you. They're in pursuit, and they're about to send you messages to like heal to you and be bound by law kind of stuff. But you're diving for the clouds and hoping that you can activate your, cloaking tech before you come out the clouds on the other side, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's controlled in the fact that it hasn't escalated to them being like, oh yeah, well, we shoot you. I mean, they're trying to be right on your tail. And if you cloak when they're right on your tail, they'll still like be literally like feet away and be able to use eyes and stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. Is it controlled standard?
Yeah.
All right. I would like to bump it to risky by like going around buildings and like through
No problem.
as we like are
I
looking
will
at
tell
the
you right now that on a 4 to 5, some of those buildings may be damaged. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, well, they could also damage the ship, but
Sure.
you're-
Which, if that's what you want instead, we can negotiate. That's
Yeah.
fine.
I
Go ahead.
am going risky, great effect. And yeah, Faye is literally like flying it through these rafters, turning the ship to slip through. Let's see if we can break our
Tail. So good. What a wonderful widespread. Nice.
Shot is like, the dice hate me.
Also true.
So this is what I'm going to say. No problem. You get away. However, your piloting is not gosh darn that good. And you do hit some of these factories and buildings. So I think that...
I think I'd like to resist that. I'm happy with like hitting them, but I think it's like when we're about to hit them and do like real damage, that's when like I go, oh crap, and I try and like jam it to the other way, and we get bang on the other side.
Cool. Yeah.
So I would like to resist the damage. Cosmetic is great, but like the serious, those people destroyed this place.
Well, keep in mind that this was a risky roll. So if
Yeah.
you're taking damage, you're taking 2 levels of damage to the ship.
Well, yeah, hold on. Which one were you saying? We take ship damage, or we take?
I was going to say that you're going to take heat.
Yeah. I would like to reduce it
Okay.
or
cool.
eliminate it. I would like to resist that.
You would like to
And
resist
whether
that.
you say well, it means we take less heat or it means we take no heat. The way I resist it is by quick reflexes and
Desperation.
and desperately. So I'd like to say no to the heat.
No problem.
I think
so
it's
in
prowess
this
because
case,
it's
I think it is prowess, yeah, because you're
cool.
yeah, this is like reflexes, right?
Yeah, it's we're scraping against the edge, we're peeling the paint off, but hopefully we're not actually knocking buildings over. Oh my goodness, there's the great rolls I've needed
And
all
you clear
night.
stress, because when you crit on a resist, you clear a stress actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh.
So I think that you like scrape stuff and you're like, we're fine, totally fine. Didn't even need that part. So yeah, so the Stardancer, fresh out of port, is gonna head for the clouds, and like it says like Stardancer, but there's like a big scrape, so like half the letters are missing there. So
Fresh out of repairs, fresh and need repairs.
you hit the cloud cover, and then we see space with the cloud cover, and we see only their ship come out and
Nice.
slow down and hover for a second and be confused. And I think that's a great place to end the episode, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodness.
And we'll discuss what jobs you guys are taking for next time. But somewhere deep in your cargo hold, hunched over because like the cargo hold is still kind of low for him. You hear Bar Hazuk saying, "Did we make it?"
Yeah, I don't think we meant to take the leader of Conclave 01 with us, but hey.
He's not the leader. The leader of
Oh,
Conclave 01 is the Prime.
Oh, is the Prime. Sorry, I
No, Bar Hazuk is a member. There's a bunch of unique Urbots that have chosen names for themselves instead of some guild designation. But yeah, Bar Hazuk is just like he's a known member, and it's a member that you guys know. But yeah, the Prime is the leader. Cool.
Let's do
So that's that.
speeds. Yeah.
Yeah, dudes.
Whoa.
Of all the broken up letters that people are putting
Thank
in
you.
chat.
Yes.
Effing hilarious. Dancer. Tar answer. All right, cool. Sweet. So let's do XP. Everybody knows the drill. Who wants to go first?
Jory, why don't you go first?
Okay. I did not do any desperate actions. That's true, correct?
In
my recollection, that is the case.
I don't think so, yeah.
I addressed a tough challenge with deception or influence.
I feel like influence definitely came into play with the Sahir.
Yeah. I think
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
smooth things over with with let's see here. I would also say you stopped Faye from ruining the deal. I don't know
That's
if
true.
Faye was a tough challenge or not, but I feel like she was
Fate's
getting the win.
always a tough challenge.
There it is.
I'm
Speak
giving you
truth.
XP.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but I didn't really lie at all, which is weird.
No.
That's kind of my
Are
thing.
you okay?
I know.
so the next question for you is
I express my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background, which
holy
I
shit,
definitely
I feel like
Just a little.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
I feel like that talking to Boz and being like, I've never done this because I've lived a life of leisure and my hands are soft and I want to
My
learn how to
uncalloused
fight.
hands. This is adorable.
But the whole
Very
like David's just
real.
uh
Oh,
really
yeah.
cargo and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not human
Awesome.
trafficking.
so 4 XP for Loren.
well wait what
And
about
I-
Just one more, which is did you
I
struggle?
struggled with issues from my vice or traumas during the session. I did feel like I was overindulging at the Sahirs. Nothing bad happened because of that. I do feel like it played into why I got into the fight with Faye because I was a
Oh.
little
Yeah.
inebriated at the time.
Sure.
Oh.
And I think it's even less the fight and more the kind of revelation of how much I care about her. That is something that I would not have shown had I not been a little drunk.
I would
Uh-huh.
totally give an XP for that. That's actually a really good explanation. Thank you.
So
Mhm.
nice.
That's so cool.
I remember that you said it, but the scene cut before you got like really sloppy to the effect where it might have insulted them. I'd be like, and they're insulted. Do you resist? But
Yeah.
tying that back to the argument with Faye is awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great work. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So 5
And
XP
then-
So
total.
that's 5. Yeah.
Check you out. Woo.
Oh, you
who's-
guys, I'm gonna get a new
Dogs.
skill, a new special ability.
Nice.
Dun,
That's
dun, dun.
I am excited to hear about this. Boss, do you want to go next? Let me ask.
Sure.
On my screen, you're lined up for this.
Oh, very good. Awesome. So you addressed a tough challenge with force or threats. And I feel like
Well-
Boz did a lot of like marching around and being stoic in the face of these two arguing and being. But I don't know that there's a whole lot of like.
You just shot at Darth Vader.
I was about to say, definitely not a Darth Vader.
Definitely.
Yep. So I would definitely say that is a difficult problem that you're addressed with force or threats.
Mm-hmm.
Both force and, in a way, being threatening.
Using
I
the
don't
tools
know
you
that
got.
you were forceful or threatening anywhere else. Can anybody else think of that? You were kind and loving at the heart of the group.
Yeah.
Other than like,
Police and drives, but
sure, like other than, yeah, I was gonna say other than vicing with the Cobalt folks, right? But that's
Yeah, there was definitely
actually, I will say something, and I
Hmm.
don't know that you've overcome it, but I would. This is maybe we ask you to push it a little bit further. But one of the things that I thought was notable is the fact that you treated Loren with kindness, but you're preparing the Cobalt Syndicate for war.
Mm.
Going up against Malclaith is a tough challenge, and you are teaching them how to address it with force and threats.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know that, like, you didn't really use force and threats to overcome it yet, but I feel like this is a step in the right direction, and I
Yeah.
want to call it out.
Sure, feeding
Yeah.
towards that, like that, identifying that as the solution or a solution, right?
In
Sure.
particular, the difference in your demeanor and how,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, force and threats definitely speaks to how you were treating all those people.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What do the rest of you feel like? Do
Yeah,
you-
I feel that. I feel
Okay,
like
cool.
that's a side of Boz that we don't see very often, but is very integral to who she is.
Yeah,
And
that
like,
was
I dig it.
arming for war, arming for a fight, rather than just like this is how you practice parkour. Very good vibe.
Tumbling class.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's 2 XP there. What's your next trigger?
Oh, very good. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah.
Some.
Well, we saw a lot of your heritage and your background.
Mhm.
Sure.
But
Playing.
also our beliefs came forefront.
Yeah.
As to what we're doing.
Sure. Delivering of our human trafficking, maybe not human trafficking, doesn't matter. Like we
Yeah.
don't know. Sure.
Well,
And
and
the
just
answer
seeing
was-
how intensely you were invested in like getting an answer from David about
Mm.
like what he wanted was very clear beliefs and drives in that.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. So that sounds like 4 XP there. Do you feel
That'll
like you
do.
struggle with vice or traumas anywhere?
I really don't think so at this juncture because I don't feel like anything's because like Boz isn't like naming the idea of like preparing for conflict and helping the Cabal Syndicate, like Boz isn't struggling with that decision at this juncture, right? Like we're not there yet.
Usually we
Okay.
see a lot more of this either when A, people pick up traumas, or B,
Yeah.
there's a bad vice roll where you overindulge and things go
Sure.
sideways a little bit.
Sure, like when you throw food at people.
Yeah.
Like when you throw food at people. Cool.
Awesome.
So it sounds like 4 XP for you.
Yeah.
Faye, Sean, you're last. You want to take us out?
All right. Sounds good.
Sing it.
Let's pull Faye up here. Boop, boop. Trying to get her. I'm trying to keep our on screen. All right. You address a tough challenge with charm or audacity.
Audacity everywhere.
I feel
Everywhere
like-
audacity.
Yeah, I feel like audacity is Faye's suit. I think it was pretty audacious to go sneak on to
Dear
this,
God,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
A little, just a smidge.
and then and I also would say it was the same trying to deal with the Sahir and get
Yeah.
something out of David. I like caused quite a bit of a ruckus
Well,
Mhm.
to satisfy my own sense of what the hell was going on.
Sure, and turning it around and blaming Lauren.
Yeah, that was totally backwards.
It was
Yeah.
that was remarkable, and audacious is a way we can talk about that.
I also, I mean, I know that the sway didn't come into play here, but I thought that it was incredibly audacious to try and negotiate with essentially Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
Like, wait, can we talk about this?
Can I? There's got to be something I could do for you. Embodiment of evil.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
to dial
was-
back to that too is the part where you asked the info broker, hey, you want to go do this, right? Yeah. You totally want to do
you want to
this.
like hack into
Yeah.
the Malklave's
Yes.
ship and get some
Info.
information?
Yeah, you were saying though, Sean. I'm sorry.
No, I'm all good. All right,
Okay.
I'm taking 2 for that.
Yeah.
Putting them in insight. All right. You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. Apparently, I'm also 0.
Yeah.
Whole connection with the Yaru is still haunts Faye. My nightmares came true,
Mhm.
and we had lots and lots of fights over where we sit on human trafficking.
Mhm.
And I feel like those were all pretty core to who Faye is. A lot of why she was so messed up was because we were doing all these things that were like really counter to what to her beliefs, and she was not happy with it. Though she did it in the end, it was like, okay, I guess money is it. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna take 2 on that unless anyone objects, because I feel like
Yeah.
I think there was a ton of beliefs and drives there from, yeah.
And then did my vice cause problems?
Sure did.
I would definitely give you an XP for that. 'Cause, yeah, I mean, diving on that grenade for 1 XP. Good job.
Nicely
Getting in
done.
fights with crewmates, making fun of powerful Xenos, all that good stuff.
Yeah. That's what I want to take, because I want XP.
So good.
But you indulged your vice, so no nightmares for at least a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I'll stave them off. All right, cool. That's 5 ticks on insight.
Last but not least, we should do crew real quick.
Yeah.
So Stardancer, let's take a look quick here. Did you execute a successful transport or smuggling operation?
Yes.
Woo!
We did.
We did that.
Did the thing.
Did you contend with challenges above your current station? I would say
Every day.
We did.
I think we did it twice, both with the Sahir and with the
Moclaith. Yeah,
with
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
That's 3 XP, not 4, son.
We had one.
No, actually, I put the 1 in for executing the
Okay.
operation.
Sorry.
We're both doing it.
We're both in there. There we go. I'll let you
Alright,
finish.
Sure. Y'all can
I will let you do it.
Okay.
Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. So I believe that your current crew reputation is that you're ambitious.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you guys feel like you bolstered that reputation?
Well, we have a note in there that says crew reputation ×2 next time.
Oh.
I think
Yeah.
that was because.
Oh, that's right. So we'll give you at least 1 tick here, because you did decide to complete the job where you stole the guy from the Yaru and delivered him, because we weren't sure if you were actually going to
Exactly.
Right.
finish the
Because
job.
we did a pretty crazy job. It was dangerous and all those things. So
It was very bald-facedly like. It was very cheeky.
Mhm.
yeah. So I'm removing that and putting. You said 1 on there.
Yes, you should put at least 1
Okay.
for having done the ambitious thing last time.
Mhm.
And the question is, do you feel like you guys bolstered your ambitious reputation this time?
I think we kind of agreed to doing 2 time-sensitive jobs that both like are gonna probably put us in different ends of the planet.
Wait,
Different
did
ends.
we agree to do the other job?
Did they agree to these?
Faye?
Flashback, they loaded all of the supplies onto the ship and it was ready to go.
Yeah, I think Faye agreed to the job.
No.
Mm!
Damn it, Faye!
I didn't know you were gonna go out to the Badlands to get a job.
You
Yeah.
gave us the note.
Why did you sneak onto that ship?
So great.
To find out what they were after.
Faye's answer to get us an extra crew XP.
I love you all.
So noted.
At some point, you're gonna say, Faye, when are you gonna stop making bad decisions? And I'll get back to you on that one.
I will love to see a crew argument about job orders and priorities.
I made
On
a
the
good
horizon.
Yeah.
I
On
made
the horizon, thank you.
decision. I can't remember what it was, but there was some point in this session where I was like, haha, I learned a thing. Well, I forgot now.
Did we express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew? I feel like that's an easy 2x. Most of this
Yeah.
episode was exactly about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
Just the way that you guys argued and debated a lot of the morals and the ethics, and also like what you're going to spend stuff on, which priorities do you have? And I feel like when you argue about which jobs you take next time, that's going to happen a lot.
It's gonna be great.
Hashtag
Right.
Team Faye.
It was so good.
Chat approves. All right, cool. So I believe that wraps up episode 4
Yes.
of Scum
Oh
and
my
Villainy
God.
Stardancer. I don't know what we're doing for a job next week, but we will have that discussion. And so come back for either some exciting runs, because it is fire season in Iota. So maybe we come back for some exciting runs between the fire streams between the suns, where there is the rumor that ships go missing, and old ship pilots and stuff have stories about something called the Old Dragon that lives there, but nobody's ever seen it. It clearly can't be a thing.
Great.
Totally.
Or maybe we book for the Brook system and go looking for some weird mystic sites and try to figure out how to acquire something that's going to stop House of Baron with his a large quantity of Urbos from being able to control them directly. And maybe find out more about that, gather some info, talk to some Breakfast system actually is like the social system in the sector. They have like academies and high
Oh,
society.
sweet. I'm going to be
I was
excited.
gonna say, Lauren.
But it's also
Good.
dangerous. It's also the home of the
Monclave.
Scarlet Wolves, who are like crazy assassins, and there's all sorts of stuff there. So
I do want to say that we're not playing next week or the week after. Actually, our next day is June 8th.
oh, okay. Thank you for letting everyone know.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
reminder.
Yeah, as we get into con season, our schedule will be a little. We're still going to try and shoot for effectively a game every other week, but it might be some
Yeah, we
games
might
come
have to
together and
bounce
stuff
one just
are-
even it out, just because stuff is coming up, and I know that Sean and I are going to be at different cons here coming up.
Yep.
So
But good times.
Mhm.
Running like crazy as we.
We
continue here.
leading a retreat. We got to practice something, right?
Yeah.
Fleet of foot, audacious and fleet of foot, ambitious.
All right.
Fleet of foot.
chat, thank you so much for hanging with us and
Yeah.
giving us
Yeah.
commentary, and YouTube. You know,
Yes,
thanks for
YouTube.
watching the VODs and
Yeah.
videos, and
Comment below.
that's it
Oh,
for
I've
now.
got to do this thing. There we go. Sorry, I was like, what am I clicking on? All right. Good night, all.
Night.
Cheers.